I just wanted to get on the record that he had an attorney, or has an attorney. The attorney couldn't be bothered to show up. He paid $2,000, and we're going to require the court to acknowledge that fact, that the reason why Wells Fargo was granted the order was because his attorney basically threw him under the bus and said, you know what, we'll just let Wells Fargo do whatever they want to do. We're not even going to put up a fight. So what I figured the easiest thing for me and him to do right now is to sue the attorney, but sue him as a man. Don't say, don't do malpractice, don't do anything. I'm just going to make a simple lawsuit where it says, I think the man's name is David Wright. I think that's his name, is the attorney. And I'll say, my friend's name is Jimmy Vest. And we're just going to make a simple lawsuit in court here, and I'll post it online. It's just going to say, I, man, Jimmy Vest, claim wrong by the acts of David Wright. Next sentence would be David Wright. I tended David Wright $2,000 to perform a service. And number 3 would be by his failure to perform that service, I've accrued a financial loss. And then I said to him, we're just going to make a claim for the amount that the mortgage due. And we're not going to put down the fact that he's an attorney. We're not going to put down the fact of malpractice, because as soon as a court clerk sees an attorney's name on there or malpractice, she's going to try to do everything in her power to try to slow that process down. So if you just say one man did another man wrong, that's it. Oh, and I said to him, we're definitely going to do a trial by jury, because I said if you do a jury with a man in a black robe, he's going to basically cover for the lawyer when he realizes who this David Wright is, who gets before him. What's going to happen is the judge is going to say to my buddy, he's going to say, well, you know, $2,000 was cheap. You know, most people charge $5,000 to do bankruptcy. You know what? As a matter of fact, I think you owe Mr. Wright another $3,000. Next case. So I said, no, I said, don't go in front of a man in a black robe on this one. This one we go in front of a jury. And we show the jury that that man, David, is just like any other man. You give him $2,000, he better at least show up for the court hearing, and he better at least fake it that he tried to win. And when you don't win, he just says, oh, well, you know, we had a good try. Well, you know, good sport, good volley. We lost this one. That's okay. We'll get him on appeal. At least fake it that you care. But he realized that my buddy came up with the $2,000, so he probably figured, he comes up with $2,000, we'll file an appeal and maybe make another quick $2-3 grand on the guy. So I said to my friend, no, we're just going to go after him as a man. We're going to ask for a trial by jury. You don't have to attach anything. You could attach the exhibit of the receipt that you gave the man $2,000 if you want it. But honestly, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to do citations. You don't have to do the Virginia Code. You don't have to do, just say one man said that he'd perform a function. Like say a man said he'd come over here and fix my pond, fix my creek, fix a dam, and he doesn't do it. And it floods. And I'm going to just say I accrued a loss. I don't have to say he was a lawyer. I don't have to say anything. I don't have to say he was a brick mason. I just say he was a man. I gave him a certain amount of money. He failed to perform a function in which he agreed to perform. And now I've accrued a loss. And that is it.
What about the house?
Oh, he's still in the house. I mean, they haven't moved on a foreclosure yet. And it was funny. I got to talk to the Wells Fargo attorney. I said, I'm going to see you down in Rockbridge County. I said, I'm going to ask for the original note. Because it's funny, when we got up there, the judge said to him, well, why haven't you paid in 3 years? It was so funny. And he said, well, you know, he fell into hard times. And I said to the judge, I said, he wants to pay today. And, you know, if we have the money, if we have it all up front, does Wells Fargo have the original note that they have right now that we could just swap the money for the note? So then the lady said, that'll be it today, fellas. It's like, I just asking, just throwing it out there. If I have the cash in my back pocket, I'm going to say a rich friend of his, and we just want to toss you the cash. Can we just take the note and, you know, destroy the note, and can they take their money and leave us alone? And she said, that'll be it for today. You know, we just have the two motions you put in. We don't have another motion. And what was funny, I was in the courthouse, and I walked out. And when I walked out, some lady, like dressed all in black, came up to me, real dressed nice lady. She tapped me on the shoulder when I was in the court clerk's office getting a copy of his case file to try to see. They had a copy of the note, but not the original note, and all the routing numbers and FICA numbers were redacted. So, and the FHA numbers were redacted on it. And I say, why they were redacted? So I called up the attorney's office today. Hey, that's right, they didn't call me back. I called up Wells Fargo to say, hey, where's the routing numbers, so I could actually see where this note is at this time and where has it traveled, you know, through the commercial process. Once you got it, did you securitize it? Did you monetize it? Did you, what did you do with the note? So they redacted all the routing numbers, so I couldn't see if Wells Fargo actually has possession of it, or had they made a claim on it through an insurance company, or through the IRS or the Treasury Department. Have they, claimed the loss? I wanted to find out. But everything was redacted, so that was interesting. I never seen a redacted one like that. But I guess they're doing it nowadays, so people like me can't figure out where it is. And
amazing. They're so sneaky and conniving.
Oh, we'll
they don't even care.
Oh, we'll get it, though. But it's funny. Some lady tapped me on the shoulders at the court clerk's office, and she said, what was your name again? And I said, Karl Lentz. She said, I heard of you. She said, I seen you on YouTube. I said, can I help you, ma'am? And she says, I'm doing a pro se case here. I said, let me see your claim. I'll take a look at it when I'm outside in the lobby. So it's funny. She went back in the courtroom. So I went back in the courtroom, and I tapped her on the shoulder, and I called her, to come back out to me. It was so funny, man. That made those attorneys so, nervous, because I started talking. I said, let me read your paperwork here real quick, ma'am. I said, ma'am, where's your claim for equity? And she's like, well, I said, where's your equitable claim, for the property? And she said, what are you talking about? And I said, she was doing all stuff I guess she learned on YouTube or something. And I said, see what the bank wrote right here? That you have no equitable interest in the property beyond the, $138,000 on which is due. I said, ma'am, you have no idea. Your equitable claim could be worth $200,000, $300,000, $400,000. I said, did you mow the lawn? Did you take the tree off the roof when it fell? Did you fix the leaks in the roof? Did you fix the broken windows? Did you make sure the mice stayed out of the house? Did you make sure that property that they're claiming is worth $136,000 over the last, for the last 20, 30 years you lived there? Did you maintain it so now that it's still worth $130,000, or did you let it just fall to irreparable repair and just let it get mold and mildew and mice and raccoons living in it? She said, no, I did good upkeep. I said, good. Then you're a good caregiver, you're a good housekeeper, you're a good groundskeeper. She said, yeah. I said, make the claim. Make the equitable claim. And she's like, really? I said, yeah, just call me if you can't figure it out. I said, ma'am, this is so simple, it's scary. Just make the claim for the equitable value that you put into the land, the sweat, the toil, the labor, that you kept it up. Good. You kept up the bank's house for 30 years? Great, lovely. Now they could pay you for being a groundskeeper, being a housekeeper. Just like the women were doing back in the 70s when they, again, divorced from their husbands, and all these rich husbands who were presidents, CEOs of big companies were saying, oh, well, she was just a bimbo wife. I married her. She was a bimbo at 18. She's a bimbo at 50. And, she never had a lick of work done in her life. She never did nothing. And then the women were claiming equitable interest in the home and raising the children. And the women were walking out with $1 million in sweat equity. Wow. So I said to the lady, don't do what the women did in the 1970s. I said it was hysterical. What they were doing, and they even made a movie. I don't remember if it was called The Wives Club or something. It was a ridiculous movie. I think Diane Keaton was in it, and Goldie Hawn, and it was flipped around. The man was making the equitable claim and interest that he was married to Goldie Hawn, but she made all the money, but he gave up his career to manage hers, so he was getting tons of money. So it's funny, and people forget all about how to do that. But it was nice that somebody recognized me, and the court clerk saw the lady come up to me in the clerk's office and said, "Who are you again?" And I said, "The court clerk lady," because I explained to her that she said when she asked me if I was an attorney, I said, "No, I'm not an attorney. If I was, I could only present the person to the court. But since I'm a man, I could make a present of the court another man. I could present another man to the court. But if I was an attorney, I can't present a man to the court, but I can present a person to the court because I'm acting in the capacity of a person as well." And she's like, "What are you talking about?" I said, "Well, a person is technically a man, but he owes a duty and obligation to a society like a legal society, and I owe no duty or obligation to a legal society. So I'm just saying I'm a man, he's a man, and we're just coming here to see if anybody's got a claim that he owes a debt." I said, "That's simple." I said, "Nothing amazing, nothing complicated." So the lady was just looking at me. She's like, "What the hell? That don't make sense somehow." She's like, "I never heard anybody say it that simple." It was funny, the poor clerk lady, but she really liked me. So she gave me a copy of the case file, and we found a copy of the note. But I said to her, "Isn't it true that the original note must follow the case? It can't be hidden someplace?" And she's like, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, say we're arguing about a pogo stick or a tractor or a pony. Wouldn't the sheriff's department have to hold a pony in a stable somewhere so when the court makes a ruling on the pony the winner gets the pony. Because if the loser has the pony, he might just out of spite just put a bullet in the pony's head and say, "Oh, look, some hunter shot the pony when I was in court today. What a shame." You know, I said, "Aren't you supposed to actually put the item that's in dispute in the care and the custody of the court, the sheriff's department?" And I said, "This is just a copy. Where's the original note?" So she's like, "I don't know. You're gonna have to ask Wells Fargo." I said, "Yeah, I'll do that." So we called up Wells Fargo, and obviously, when I asked the first guy, he sent me to a second guy who obviously put me to his voicemail. The second guy, obviously, they're not going to answer that simple question.
Yeah, nobody wants to talk to you.
Oh, it's fun. I said, "Look, I got the cash. I got the money in my back pocket." You know, it's like, say you got a big drug deal. You know, they got 10 kilos of cocaine. You're not going to give the guy 10 kilos and say, "Hey, come back with the $3 million you owe me sometime soon, please." No, you're going to say, "Look, here's the money here, and we'll drop it at the same time. We'll grab it, and we'll both run." So where's the note? I'll drop the money on the table, but I want that note. Before you grab the money and run, I want to have one hand on the note, you have one hand on the money, and we'll let our hands go at the same time. I want that note. So nobody else could claim the IOU, the note, in the future. I want to make sure this is the note. And I got the original note. So it's so funny, man.
So now what?
I'm just going to go after the lawyer first. The lawyer is going to be a lot more fun because the lawyer, you know, is in collusion with the lawyer from Wells Fargo, and you know he's in collusion with the trustee that was assigned by the United States Bankruptcy Court. You know they're all in collusion, just laughing their behinds off. I mean, our buddy's proud to be a redneck, and he's proud to not have a, college education. He's proud, that he dips tobacco. He's proud of that fact. He could take care of his family. He's one of those, I got a shotgun and a tractor, and I don't need the rest of the world. So he's a good guy. But like I said, they think this is funny, that they make a quick $2-3 grand off the guy, and they run. So because he couldn't pay his light bill, so he had his lights got shut off because he had to come up with the $2 grand. So he was borrowing it from everybody. And this guy carries my debit card in his back pocket for years. So he could have used my debit card to pay his bills when I was over in England, but he didn't. And so his lights got cut off, and he had to borrow money. So it's so funny, when his lights got turned back on, he had to come up with $1,700 for a deposit and for the past due bill, and they made him pay 2 bills in advance. Mm-hmm. So that $2 grand that he paid the lawyer, he could have saved and paid his light bill on time and not fallen behind. So he's just been having a real tough 60 days. Yeah. But he takes care of my place when I go over to like England or whatever. He takes care of this place, so I got to help him out now, and it's a lot of fun. So now we're going to just go after the lawyer for taking the money and not doing any work. Thank God the lawyer didn't do anything, because this is a lot more fun to go after, because they're in collusion.
Yeah.
They're all in on it. So they
probably made a phone call. We're talking to each other over the phone, saying, "Yeah, I got his money. You go ahead and sell the house or whatever."
Yeah, do whatever you want to do. Exactly. So it's fun. So we finally got one with his pants down, and he's going to call up it's so funny. The opposing lawyer for Wells Fargo got on the phone right in open court, man. He ran out of the door, and we surmise he was calling up the attorney who was supposed to show up, because when we got out to my buddy's pickup truck, there was like a dozen phone calls from his attorney, but we couldn't bring the phone into court. But his attorney was trying to contact him, trying to explain why he wasn't in court. And he just kept calling all day. And I said, "Don't you dare pick up that phone and talk to that guy. He was going to try to cut a deal with you," like saying, "Well, I said, "No, we're going to file a suit against this guy. And after we get the suit filed, then we'll answer the phone for the man, and then we'll try to negotiate a settlement. But don't try to negotiate a settlement until we have something in the court."